You know that feeling, right? That constant pull between writing really clean, elegant code and the pressure to just get something working, like right now. Well, today we're going to dive into a practice that's designed to solve that exact problem. It's called test-driven development. We'll be using Kent Beck's classic book as our guide to see how this kind of counterintuitive technique can help you write clean code that you know for a fact actually works. So let's get into it. Yeah, this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's the central problem for pretty much every programmer out there. You want to build something beautiful and maintainable, but the clock is ticking and functional often wins. TDD, though, it offers a really powerful and kind of surprising way to get both. All right, so here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with why TDD even exists, the problem of clean code that works. Then we'll get into the famous red/green/refactor rhythm. After that, we'll see TDD in action with a classic example, look at a few strategies for getting to green, see how good design just kind of emerges from the process, and finally wrap up with the TDD mindset. Okay, section 1, clean code that works. This is the big challenge of software development, right? So how do we actually do it? Well, the answer TDD gives us is a little weird, honestly. It says you should write your test before you write a single line of production code. I know, it sounds completely backward, but trust me, it's an incredibly powerful way to move forward in tiny, super safe steps. So what it really boils down to is this. TDD is all about shrinking the time between making a decision and seeing if it was a good one. You know, instead of writing a whole bunch of code and then kind of crossing your fingers hoping it all works, you start by defining what working even means by writing a very specific automated test. All right, moving on to section 2, the red/green refactor rhythm. This is the absolute heart of TDD. It's this really simple, repeatable cycle that you'll do over and over again. Seriously, think of it like a mantra that's going to guide every single change you make to your code. Red, green, refactor. And the order here is everything. You can't mix it up. First up is red. You write a small, focused test for a feature that doesn't even exist yet. Of course, it's going to fail. That's the point. Then comes green. Now, your only job is to write the absolute simplest, bare minimum code to make that test pass. It can be ugly, it can be a hack, doesn't matter. The only goal is getting to green. And then, once you have that passing test as your safety net, you refactor. This is where you go back and clean up the mess, remove duplication, and make the design better. Okay, on to section 3, TDD in action. So theory is great and all, but let's actually see what this looks like in the real world. We're going to walk through the classic multi-currency money example from Kent Beck's book to really make this whole cycle feel concrete. So let's start with the goal. We want to be able to multiply, say, $5 by 2 and get $10 back. Simple enough, right? So the very first thing we do is write a test that checks for exactly that result. We do this even though we have no multiplication feature at all yet. This is now our target. So we run our test, and what happens? Boom, red bar, failure. But here's the crazy part about TDD. This is a good thing. This is progress. All this red bar tells us is that our test is working correctly. It's found a piece of functionality that's missing. We've just set up a perfect automated target for ourselves. Okay, now we switch to the green phase. Our mission, and our only mission, is to turn that red bar green. We are not trying to write beautiful code here. In fact, Kent Beck says to commit whatever sins necessary. Often, the fastest way is to do something that feels like cheating, like just returning the hard-coded answer. The goal is simply to get back to a stable, working system as fast as possible. And there it is, green bar. It might seem like a small win, but it's actually huge. What we've just created is a checkpoint, a safety point. We've proven that one tiny slice of our system does exactly what we want it to do. Now we can take the next step with total confidence. Okay, so with that green bar acting as our safety net, now it's time to refactor. This is the part where we pay back our technical debt. We can improve the design of that quick and dirty code we just wrote. You know, clean it up. Get rid of any duplication, maybe make the variable names make more sense, and the whole time we're constantly rerunning our tests to make absolutely sure we haven't broken a thing. All right, section 4, getting to green. Now, making that jump from a failing test to a passing one, it's not always straightforward. So the book gives us a few core strategies, like tools in a toolbox, to help us get there efficiently. First step, we have fake it till you make it. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You literally just return the constant, hard-coded value that your test is looking for. Yeah, it totally feels like cheating, but what it does is get you to that green bar in seconds. And from that safe place, you can then start refactoring toward the real solution. But obviously, you can't just fake it forever. So to push yourselves toward a more general solution, we use a technique called triangulation. Here's how it works. You write a second test, but with different data. All of a sudden, your hard-coded answer doesn't work anymore. The pressure from these two different examples forces you to make your code more general, usually by replacing that constant with a proper variable. Then, as you get more comfortable with this whole TDD flow, you can start using what's called the obvious implementation. This is for when the right answer is just, well, obvious. If the code is super simple and you can see it clearly in your head, you can just type it in directly. No need to fake it first. It's kind of like shifting TDD into second gear, but you can always downshift back to fixing it whenever you hit a tricky spot. Okay, next up, section 5, how good design emerges. And this, for me, is one of the most incredible and often surprising benefits of TDD. You might think it's just about writing tests, but it's not. The process itself, just by following that simple red-green refactor rhythm, actually guides you toward really good design. You'll find that well-known, solid design patterns just start to appear in your code, almost like magic. And you can see that direct connection right here. For example, that TDD practice of making small, focused objects for simple things, that leads you straight to the value object pattern. Or when you're refactoring to get rid of a bunch of messy if statements, you often end up with a command or composite pattern. When you're eliminating duplication between similar steps, you naturally arrive at a template method. And when you separate the creation of an object from its use, well, that's a factory method. You see? The simple rules of the process lead you to these powerful, proven designs. And that brings us to our final section, number 6, the TDD mindset. And this is really the most important takeaway, because TDD is so much more than just a technique you follow. It's a completely different way of thinking about how you build software. It's a mindset that's all about building confidence, getting constant feedback, and making steady, sustainable progress. I absolutely love this metaphor from the book. Think about a ratchet wrench, right? It only clicks in one direction, forward. It can't go backward. Well, your test suite becomes that ratchet for your code. Once you get a test to pass, it acts like a tooth on that ratchet. It locks in that piece of functionality, preventing you from ever accidentally breaking it again. Every green bar means you've made forward progress that you can't lose. So when you add it all up, the benefits go way beyond just finding bugs. Your tests become living documentation that's always up to date. You get the ability to refactor your code without fear, which is a total game changer. It lowers your stress level and just makes you feel more confident in your work. And because of the process, you naturally end up building systems that are nicely decoupled and way easier to maintain and change in the future. So, in the end, calling TDD just a testing technique really misses the point. It's so much more. Writing the test first, that's an analysis technique. It forces you to think really clearly about what you're trying to build. Getting the test to pass, that's a focused implementation technique. And the refactoring step, that is a pure design technique. It's a discipline that really structures your entire development workflow. So let's close with this really powerful question from Kent Beck, which is a challenge to every single one of us. He asks, if you don't drive development with tests, what do you drive it with? Speculation? Hope? TDD offers a real, concrete alternative to just guessing. And that is a very powerful idea to think about.